First, I'd like to welcome all our Board of Trustees, honored guests, NCCC alumni, the faculty, veterans, staff, and the visitors we have here. Um, I'd like to thank the Patriot Guard riders that are holding up the flags here. It's a pretty frigid morning today. Thank you, gentlemen. My name's Anthony Garza. I'm the president of the Veterans Association here at NTRIP. I'm a 13-year Marine Corps veteran, and I'm currently going to school for business administration, and I'm going to be your master of ceremonies. So I just try to stay focused, not on my hair. I know it's cold out here. And I ask that everyone please, please, your mobile devices, please put them on silent so we don't want no interruptions here. I'd like for everyone to stand. We're going to present the colors. The Honor Guard from the Niagara Falls Air Force Base is going to present the colors, and then we're going to sing the national anthem. I guess they're behind me. I'm sorry. Now we're going to have two students, Emily and Ashley. They're going to be singing the national anthem, so please take your hats off and follow along.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, ladies. It's a tradition here at NTRIP to honor veterans and place a wreath here at the Veterans Park Memorial. And at this time, I'm going to ask Don Evans and Tom Goodnick to come forward and place the wreath. They're both veterans from the Navy. Don's an employee in the maintenance department, and Tom's a retired maintenance department employee. They will place the wreath on our monument in commemoration of all those who serve, past, present, and future. I'd like now to call Cheryl Ann, I'm sorry, I'm probably going to hack her last name. Belvawaka? I'm sorry. She's currently a student here for Human Services and Chemical Dependency Program, and she is currently in the U.S. Army Reserves and a 3-year veteran. So please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. In reality, I'm keeping you warm, making you keep on getting up and getting down, so you'll thank me later. As a veteran myself, I love the cold weather. I've always loved training in the cold. Remember times at Fort Drum doing training before deployments, we'd be cold, frigid cold. Mornings like this remind me of it. So I woke up this morning like 05:30, went out for a run. I live in Niagara Falls. Went like on my 6th mile, and I'm coming home and I get pulled over by a police officer. Turns his siren on, he's like, "Hey, come over here. What can I help you with?" He's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm running." He goes, "Why do you have that thing on your back?" "I run with a flak jacket on. One, it keeps me warm, and two, I still like to take care of myself and train." So I told him, I was like, "I've been running with it since 1995. He didn't get the joke, but needless to say, I guess it's weird someone running with a flak jacket around the neighborhood. I don't know. Right now, I'd like to introduce Nate Cummings. He's going to lead our invocation. He is a 3-year Army veteran, and he's currently going to school for culinary arts. He's a gentle giant, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, not big behind the mic, so I hope everyone can hear me okay. Bow your heads if you wish. Our Father in heaven, we ask your blessing on our cause, for we believe we fight for what Christ taught, the brotherhood that all men ought to feel. We do not ask that each of us be blessed with luck while all around about us and overseas our brothers and sisters die. We ask for your blessing in our deeds which we perform without an ounce of selfishness. Thy kingdom come in all our hearts, that we may face the fate that shall be ours with fortitude. In time of battle, keep our courage high. Help us carry on, so that we may bring the troops home safely and provide citizens a safe home. If we fall, give us the strength to bear the suffering, the pain that may be ours. For those of us who die, grant us the plea that by our sacrifice the word will see more clearly what it ought to be. The freedom of democracy will be preserved and understood through all the shining years ahead. Blessed Father, pray for us too, that in our hours of need we may preserve our souls. For thine is thy kingdom, ours is the responsibility of personal integrity forever and ever. Amen.
I'd like now to introduce Chairman Henry Watazik. I practiced that. He's going to offer the welcome on behalf of his fellow trustees. He is currently the General Counsel for the Western New York Region Off-Track Betting. And from 1997 to 1991, he worked for the Navy in the JAG program. These are the kind of people I ran from in the military. Well, while serving this position, he was given the Navy Commendation Medal and Navy Achievement Medal, which are two accolades that are highly distinguishable. I respect those. I want you to please welcome Chairman Watazik. Did I get it right?
You did. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that introduction and practice of the name. Good morning. On behalf of my fellow trustees and President Kleisik, welcome to NCCC's annual Veterans Day ceremony. It really is an honor to be here today with you all and with all the veterans to say thank you for all that you've done for our country over the years. America is only as strong as its people, and we are here today to honor the caretakers of all that our forefathers have fought for, those soldiers that are on active duty, those that are in the reserves, those in the National Guard, all of whom have put themselves in harm's way to protect the freedoms that we hold so dear, the freedoms that we many times take for granted here in our country. That's what makes our country so great, and we should be eternally thankful to all of those who served our country over the years, because that's the reason why we keep those freedoms. John F. Kennedy once said, as we express our gratitude, we must never forget the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live them. And that's why it is so important that we show our appreciation to our men and women who have served here in America, to the brave men and women, and we need to live that appreciation every day. So today is a great day to be American. Thank you for all coming out here to brave a little bit of cold. I feel privileged and proud to stand here with everybody, all the veterans who have served here, and all of those who have done so much for so many of us here in America. Again, it's a great day to be here. Thank you for coming out, and God bless America.
Thank you. Next, I want to introduce Brian Korf. He is the Vice President for the Veterans Association here at NTRIP. He is in the Air Force Reserves for 4 years now, and his major is criminal justice, and he's going to speak on behalf of our student veterans.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today to support our veterans and those who are stationed overseas currently and everyone who's ever served ever. When most people are asked about their lives, they think about things that they could have changed, they think about things that they wish they had done, or regrets that they have. Veterans usually don't have this problem, as their service records speak for themselves. Taking up arms for one's country is a great endeavor and shows great courage. Our current generation of veterans at this moment is actually one of the smallest in an all-volunteer force. Less than 1% of the U.S. population is currently serving in uniform as of right now. A large proportion of those serving are in the Guard Reserve. Men and women who are living almost double lives as civilians one day, service members the next. I was only 17 at the time when I did sign my contract. I was only not full adult yet, so my father had to sign with me. But I've always felt the need to serve, and I've always felt patriotism. And also it's kind of in my blood, as many members of my family have served throughout years and throughout America's wars from the time of the Civil War. The unit I was in and first served in, and still am in, is the 914 Security Forces Squadron out of Niagara Falls Air Base, right down the road from here. Actually, we are blessed right now, we have our current commander with us. In July of 2011, I was deployed to Kandahar Airfield, Afghanistan. This is my first deployment, and I was only 4 months out of tech school training and basic training. I served there until January 2012, and I was serving with NATO ISAF forces, helping to train Afghan National Police, Afghan National Army, as well as protecting the flight line and all our resources there, as well as our allies. But within a matter of a week, I found myself at NCCC in a classroom, so I had a little bit of a culture shock. Luckily for me, NCCC is very veteran-friendly, and the VA staff, as well as the professors here, are very understanding. They worked with me to get the semester going, as well to continue on, and I still have contact with many professors who I don't have classes anymore, who help me out time to time. Now I'm entering my final semester of college, and I know that it holds true that I do not have any regrets. I do not have any what-ifs, for I have done what I wanted to do, and I'm currently still going forward. And to quote John C. Calhoun, in looking back, I see nothing to regret and little to correct. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. It's like Brian, I joined the Marines when I was 17 years old. My dad had to sign me away. I'm from the south side of Chicago, and I relocated to Western New York after I got out of the Marines. I like it here. It's fun, and it's cold. I like the cold. Next, I'm going to introduce our keynote speaker. He's a colonel in the United States Air Force Reserve, and he's the commander of the 914th here in Niagara Falls, as Brian mentioned. He's also the director of Veterans and Veterans Family Services at Damon College. He was commissioned in 1984, and he has a Bachelor of Science and Master's of Science from UB in Aerospace Engineering. His personal awards and decorations include a Bronze Star, Meritorious Service Medal, Aerial Achievement Medal, Air Force Commendation Medal. I can go on forever. It's cold here. Please help me welcome Colonel Gordon.
I want to go off script here for a moment. Last week, one of our airmen in the 914th took his own life. He was 5 weeks short of his 19th birthday. Our two honor guard folks who are here, who you'll see in a little while, they were both at his funeral service in Rochester, as was I. And it was just a shocking, terrible thing. And for all the young people here and all the people who are not so young, please, as we say in the Air Force, be a good wingman. Keep an eye out for your friends. Be cognizant to how they feel, and please do your best to try and prevent anything like that from happening anytime soon again. But now to the task at hand. It's Veterans Day. I'm not going to talk about OEF or OIF or Vietnam or Korea or even World War II. You all are probably aware that quite a few countries around the world are commemorating today. Just to the north in Canada, it's Remembrance Day. In fact, in 52 other countries in what was the British Commonwealth, former colonies of Britain, this is Remembrance Day. Does anyone know the significance of this day? Why is it November 11th? Yeah, a couple of countries, New Zealand, Belgium, France, it's still called Armistice Day, because this is the day at the 11th hour of the 11th month of the 11th, let me get this straight in my head, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, that the guns fell silent in World War I. It was truly at that moment all quiet on the Western Front. You don't hear much about World War I anymore. There's no World War I memorial. People don't talk about it. And actually, it was a very long time ago. The reason I decided to bring it up today is because next year on July 28th, it will be the 100th anniversary of the start of World War I, when Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia on July 28th, 1914. So I thought I'd talk about it. Why did the end of World War I, November 11th, become Remembrance Day? At the time, it was the most violent, the most horrific war, in fact, in many ways it still is, that the Western world had ever seen. In those 4.5, 5 years, 9 million combatants died. I mean, we think about the casualties that we have today. 9 million combatants died. That's not counting the civilians or anything like that, of which there was many, many more. One battle alone, where the major combatants were the French, the British, and the Germans, the Battle of the Somme, there were over 1 million dead and wounded in one battle alone. On the first day of the Battle of the Somme, July 1st, 1916, 20,000 British soldiers died on the first day. These are numbers that we can't conceive of today. In many ways, it was the first modern war. It was the first war of any size that aircraft played a major part. It was the first war where you had tanks. They were actually developed during the war. They did not exist beforehand to try and break the defensive stalemate that existed in the trenches on the front lines. One of the reasons that stalemate existed is because it was the first war where there was a lot of use of barbed wire and a lot of use of the machine gun. Defense had suddenly become much, much stronger than offense, yet the militaries of the time were still using the offensive tactics that they had used for a very long time, and they were just mowed down by the machine guns as they tried to cross the barbed wire. It was also the first war, and to this day the only war, where there was extensive use of chemical warfare by both sides. Many, many chemical warfare casualties. So it was a long time ago. And I at first I thought, well, maybe that's why we don't think of it. It's about to be 100 years since it started. I mean, heck, I was born in 1960, which is a long time ago, and World War I had ended 42 years before that. Yet in another way, it's not so long ago. Everyone here, no matter how young you are, has lived among World War I veterans. The last French veteran, his name was Lazare Ponticelli. He fought in combat in the Alps against Austria. He just died in 2008. The last British veteran, Harry Patch, was badly wounded by a shell at Passchendaele that killed 3 of his comrades. He just died in 2009. And the last living U.S. veteran that was on the front, Frank Buckles, he was an ambulance driver. He just passed away 2 years ago, February 27th, 2011. The last living World War I vet in the United States. We all lived among them, yet we don't remember that war, even though that's why we're here today. That's the significance of this day, November 11th. When they first celebrated it, President Wilson, in 1919, he asked that the country have a minute of silence to remember all the dead from World War I. It's something we don't really do anymore. But here today, for Ponticelli and Patch and Buckles and all the other World War I vets and World War II and Korea and Vietnam and OEF and OIF, I'd like us all to observe a minute of silence in their honor and in their memory. Thank you for braving the cold. Thank you for coming out today.
What we're going to do now is recognize all the veterans here. I see there's quite a few here. I see a couple Marines, a couple soldiers, a couple sailors, a couple airmen. I'm going to go first. All I want is the veteran to come up here and just say your name and how long you served and what branch. As you know, I'm Anthony Garza. 13 years in my beloved Corps. It's our birthday coming up. Semper Fi, Marines. Semper Fi, Marines. This thing's broken. You want to go next, Brad?
Brian Corr, 4 years in the Air Force. Hoping to do the 20.
The short one, Linda Seafelt, U.S. Air Force, 6 years.
Private First Class Cheryl Ann Bevilacqua, United States Army Reserve, 3 years and still going.
Specialist Beatty, Army, 3 years, 16 weeks, 4 months National Guard.
Sergeant McCullough, Army, 6 years and still going, National Guard.
Lorraine Federici, United States Army Reserves, 10 years.
Senior Airman Patrick Dannybrock, 914th Airlift Wing, Niagara Falls. Been in for about 3 years, still going.
Master Sergeant Motley, 914th ASTS, 12 years, still going.
Kristen Porterfield, U.S. Navy, served for 4 years.
Jim Messer, retired Command Sergeant Major, United States Army Reserve, 26 years.
Tom Simpson, United States Navy Reserve, 8 years.
PFC Melvin Full, and I served 2 years in the 519th MP Battalion over in Korea.
Bob Clark, Navy, Marine Corps, and Air Force, 40 years.
Richard Conklin, U.S. Army, 4 years.
Greg Brum, U.S. Navy Reserves, 6 years.
Scott Miller, U.S. Air Force, 5 years.
Jim Safran, United States Marine Corps, 1966-68.
Dennis Criddle, United States Navy, 4 years.
Sergeant Biter, Army Infantry, 6971.
Tom Goodnick, United States Navy, 1967 to 1974.
Dylan Pinkham, USA Air Force Reserve, 4 years.
Kevin Foley, United States Air Force Reserve, 1.5 years so far.
Walter Gordon, New York Air National Guard and United States Air Force Reserve, 29 years, 8 months.
Nate Cummings, 571st Sapper Company, U.S. Army.
Chet Slaughter, United States Marine Corps, United States Marine Corps Reserve, New York State Army National Guard, and Naval Reserve, 30 years, 8 months, and 15 days.
Ron Kroll, United States Army, 2 years.
Frank Zolke, in the Navy, trained by the Marine Corps, and flew for the Army. 6 years.
Don Rory, United States Marine Corps, 1965, 1968.
Randy Heller, United States Army, 2 years.
Diane Montez, United States Army, 3 years.
Don Armstrong, Colonel, United States Army, retired 1963, 1994.
Andrew Wojtasek, United States Navy, 4 years.
Don Evans, United States Navy, 4 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you stand up, applaud these veterans. Please remain standing as the Niagara Falls Air Force Base Honor Guard will now conduct the flag folding ceremony.
represents the original 13 colonies that declared their independence from Great Britain in 1776. Though unofficial, red is symbolic for the blood of those who have given their lives to protect and defend our great nation from all of her enemies, both foreign and domestic. White represents purity, innocence, and hope. Blue is for vigilance, perseverance, and justice. In our hearts, our flag stands for many things, evident in the Declaration of Independence, where all men are created equal, with rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The right of the people to alter or abolish any form of government that becomes destructive. Our flag stands for the Constitution of the United States of America. Freedom of religion, freedom of the press, freedom of speech. It provides for security to all of our citizens. It also provides for a fair and swift trial. It abolished slavery, and it gives each and every individual of age the right to participate in our voting process, to have a say in his or hers future. Our flag is a beacon recognized around the world to represent freedom during times of peace or during times of war. This is what we live for. This is what we will fight for. And if necessary, to touch the hand of God in her defense. The charge that we accept as soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines is a noble one, for there is no heart stronger than that of a volunteer. Let us pray that God will reflect with admiration the willingness of one nation in its attempt to rid the world of tyranny, oppression, and misery. It is this one nation under God that we call with honor the United States of America. God bless our flag. God bless our troops. God bless America.
Thank you. I'd also like to remind everyone that there's a lot of local establishments offering free meals for veterans. After the ceremony inside, we have some handouts for the veterans if you guys want to come in and find out where you can eat for free, pretty much. You know, never offer a veteran free food or free beer, because they'll be there. We're not going to perform taps, and that's going to conclude our ceremony. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today, all the veterans, the Honor Guard for bearing this weather. And if you see a veteran this weekend, just shake their hand and say thank you. That's all you got to do. You don't talk much, just a simple thank you does it.